Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3.
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2.
Mic check. Mic check.
You putting it on your phone? Somebody let us know in the comments if we have audio. Let's get this baby rolling.
Yes, sir.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to Friday Night Recap Show with the Under the Lights crew here. We are live from King's Truck Stop right here in Port Barre, Louisiana, getting a little meal to eat at one of our sponsors. And we're talking high school football recap show tonight. Scores from around the state. Big winners. You got some big time matchups. You got some games that went down to the wire. Gary Swallow, Alex Fontenot. Like I said, we had our sponsor tonight at King's. We're sitting back enjoying some good food, good company, some good week 2 action. But we're not done. We got some football games to play tomorrow.
That's right. We got one very important one for us to do tomorrow.
Alex Fontenot, first time covering a football game tonight. Initial thoughts of just being behind the camera for the first time?
Yeah, it's a little different. You know, you gotta pay attention a little bit more and really lock into the every snap, every aspect of the game. But it was a good time. Can't wait to do it again.
Gary Swallow, big time matchup tomorrow. Port Barre Beauchamp. Not many games are on Saturday, but we get to go watch that one.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Gonna try to get everything done at my work and get over there as soon as I can because I want to see the Red Devils and I want to see them. We saw them last week, but I want to see what they're going to do against Beauchamp.
Hey, big winners tonight. Let us know in the chat if your team won, and we're going to get these scores in a minute. I got JB calling in. I got Ray calling in, talking North Louisiana football, New Orleans football. Let me get through these scores right here. And then I'm going to get Mr. JB on the line for Thursday Night Football, ladies and gentlemen. Like we said, Beauchamp Port Barre was rescheduled to Saturday at 2 o'clock. So if you are interested in watching that matchup tomorrow on Under the Lights, feel free to tune in. We'll see you in the chat. Centerville beat Thrive Academy last night, and it took a while to even get that game in. They said that game ended around midnight last night. They had to go to 8-minute quarters.
Wow.
Just to get that one in. I think they kicked back off around 10-something is when that game got resumed.
That's why they get a game in bad.
Yeah.
Hats off to Coach over there. 2-0 on the young season. 20-0 shutout win over Thrive Academy. So, big time win there. 2 in a row for Centerville.
Right. I'm excited for them. I think that's the start that they needed to get some momentum going, and I see some good things for them.
Mr. Alex, Northwest Crawley played last night. Northwest Crawley played last night and Crowley, Louisiana. You were there in person. You
Yeah.
saw your Raider football team in action. Talk to me about that night.
Very, very good game for Northwest. Started fast, didn't really let off the gas, played really clean. Not a whole lot of penalties, not really any turnovers to amount to anything. So it was very good to see, the defense play well, the offense really get rolling. So hopefully they can carry that into the upcoming weeks.
Final score?
61-20 Northwest.
Hey, 1-1 on the young season
Absolutely.
for the Raiders. Look out for that football team moving forward. Mr. Swallow, how about if I call you in the middle of the night and say there is late night football going on? Will you meet me there? Your answer would be what?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, we sure showed up to Donald Gardner Stadium last night.
I was sitting at Sonic eating a burger, and then all of a sudden somebody calls me and says, "OC and it was that
Central Catholic.
Central Catholic resume," and I went, "I'll be there."
Yes, sir. We went down, watched a great football game. It looked like Vikings for 3 quarters. And then that fourth quarter just flipped. Like that, the momentum just sucked out of the stadium on that run. You thought he was tackled for a loss. He broke 8 tackles, and then the life just felt like it was gone.
Yeah, at one time it looked like OC was just going to walk away with it, but man, like you said, when the Big Mo switched, it was just one thing after another, and they just could not stop them. Hats off to that young man he would not go down, and he kept going. So I just got to say, that was a great run.
It was a great ball game.
A great ball game all the way through.
28-25, Opelousas Catholic had the lead going into the fourth quarter. Final score was 39-28, Ascension Catholic.
Right.
So, it was a big-time fourth quarter for Ascension Catholic.
Absolutely.
Hey, Abbeville Wildcats, ladies and gentlemen. Coach Moy
boy.
got the team back together. I told you he would get in that locker room and challenge his team this week. And did he ever challenge his team this week? They got a home victory tonight over Thursday night over a very good Central Catholic football team.
You're right.
So congratulations to Abbeville, the Wildcats. I'll see them in a couple weeks. I'm excited to go see them in person and cover a game. Madison Prep, Southern Lab, it just sounds right. When these two teams meet up on the gridiron, you know the talent, you know the history, you know that both of these teams could very well find their way to the Dome year in and year out. But we get a taste of Thursday night football in week 2. Thank you to those schedule makers out there.
Right.
Final score, Madison Prep on the road knocks off Southern Lab Thursday night 13-12, my friend.
All you can say is that game there, that's a wow game, because how good are these two teams? Well, that score just said they're both damn good.
Oh, yeah.
So look out, man. That's an awesome ball game right there.
Mr. Alex, Calvary Baptist and Captain Shreve met on Thursday night, and it was a rout. We didn't expect it waiting to happen. What we got?
Uh-oh.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're good. We didn't expect it to be a rout. We thought it was going to be a back and forth ball game. But Calvary Baptist flexed their muscles.
Absolutely.
They
Right.
put up 60 against Captain Shreve. It doesn't matter 1A, 5A when these two teams battle. They got great football players on both sides.
Well, you figure Calvary Baptist has just as many players as probably Captain Shreve on their ball club. Because everybody at that school probably plays football.
Absolutely.
So you have offense, defense, special teams. You got specialists. You got everything. Doesn't surprise me. It surprises me that it was that big of a point difference. But hey, Calvary Baptist is for real.
Hey, 61-27 final score. Your thoughts on that game?
Wow. Calvary, everybody on their schedule better look out.
Yeah,
They
most
come.
definitely.
Hey, this last game here. Well, I got 2 more for you. Kaplan on Thursday night. They lost their starting tailback. The guy's good. The tailback that replaced Capisi is good. They lost him. Not sure how many weeks he's going to be out. Well, let me bring in the next guy in line. And he went off. Big night for that young man. Kaplan Pirates offense is clicking,
Right.
and they are rolling here early in the season. Watch out for the Pirates moving forward. I'm very excited to see them in a couple of weeks. We're covering the game with them also. Great friendship there with the program. Big win for Kaplan on Thursday night. 38-19 over Berwick. This score last year was flipped. Berwick blew them out, so I
Right.
know revenge was a little sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Last,
Bittersweet, but yeah,
yes.
guess what? They were smiling at the end of the night.
Hey, one more for you on Thursday night, ladies and gentlemen, and then we getting JB into the chat. St. Louis and Iota, bad blood. They said lock the gates. The time for talking is over with. This was a heated deal on both sides. The community wanted this matchup bad. Twitter was rolling. Social media was abuzz. St. Louis, Iota, two good football teams battling out on Thursday night. St. Louis gets the edge here in this one, 20-7 final score. They say Graham Monte had another monster night.
Right.
I can't wait to see the stat line. But St. Louis, if that offense gets clicking,
Look out.
surrounded with that talented defense they got, you watch out for St. Louis Saints this
Ton
year.
of experience for St. Louis. They're a very old team. Rumors are they're looking to make a run at it all this year.
Right. So it's going to be interesting to see that. But at the same time, you can't, this is a tough loss for Iota, but guess what? They're going to be back because they always are.
Yeah.
So, but congratulations to St. Louis. They did a great job.
Let's see if I know how to do this. I don't. What would you just call him? I was going to bring him on the screen, but I don't
No,
think.
just give him a call.
Yeah, I don't think he's in the chat.
Go ahead first.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get JB on the line from the Hash It Out show. He's going to give us a little scoop on what happened in the New Orleans area tonight. Oh, that looks like that's him right there. JB from the
What's
Hash It
happening?
Out show. What's happening, my man?
Oh man, another good Friday of football. You know what I mean?
Hey, 2 weeks have gone already, my friend. It needs to slow the hell down because high school football is my favorite time of the year. Before you know it, we might be in New Orleans 15 weeks down the road.
Man, you're gonna be saying, man, yesterday was just week 1. Once week 15 comes in, it goes by so fast, man. It's ridiculous.
You're right.
Hey, I covered a good one tonight. I want to know how y'all did on y'all end, who you had, how the game panned out. Tell me a little bit about that matchup. I know you guys covered it on y'all page.
Yes, sir. So we took a little ride to the Bayou Parish to cover the Terrebonne Tigers against the John F. Kennedy Cougars. Coach Tyler Wilson is the head coach of the Terrebonne Tigers. A lot of talk about Terrebonne making the playoffs this year, being a much improved football team. And then you got John F. Kennedy, who's coached by Linares Elphage, who got his team to the playoffs last year with a 9-1 record. And now Kennedy wants to go deeper in the playoffs after losing in the quarterfinals. It was a very sloppy game. I mean, so many penalties. Kennedy had 19 penalties on them. Terrebonne had about a good 23 on them. So very sloppy game.
Wow.
But if we get into the game itself of offense and defense, Kennedy's defense was just phenomenal. Phenomenal. Terrebonne could not move the ball on them at all. And as most of you know, Terrebonne has a wide receiver named Colin Billiard who is going to play at LSU. And he was being covered by Bernard Causey, who is going to play at Ole Miss.
Yeah,
And-
you talked about
yeah.
that. You talked about that last week. I remember.
Yeah. And Bernard Causey won the matchup.
Okay.
And no disrespect to Terrebonne and Colin Billiard, but he won it pretty easily. And I say that because I don't think Terrebonne used Colin Billiard correctly. The only passes he caught was on wide receiver screens. That's it. Nothing else. No slants, no deep patterns, nothing. He couldn't get open. But this defensive line for Kennedy was getting into the backfield easily on most plays. Kennedy's offense didn't get going until the second quarter. And once they scored the first touchdown, their offense caught a rhythm. Terrebonne had problems stopping anything they were throwing at them, the running game and the passing game. And Kennedy went on to win 20-7.
Okay. So Kennedy, 2-0 in the year?
2-0, yes.
Okay. We'll keep a very close eye on that team moving forward, but I'm sure you guys enjoyed yourself.
Oh, without a doubt, we did, yes. Had a good time out there at Homer.
Hey, JB, I got 9 games for you to give me your overall thoughts of these matchups from your area tonight. I'm going to jump right into it. A dominated win for Newman over Riverside tonight. Give me your initial thoughts. 33-7.
I'm not surprised, to be honest with you. I really think this Newman team will shock a lot of people. And when I say shock, that's because there's no Arch Manning. There's no cameras around this team 24/7. This pressure, this national pressure that they had on them is off of them. Eli Print is a good quarterback for Newman. Is a good quarterback, and I'm telling you, he's going to make a lot of noise this season. So I really think Newman's going to be a good team that can make a great run in the playoffs. Maybe get deeper than what they achieved last year by losing in the quarterfinals. So I think Newman is a team that everyone needs to look out for. A lot of people aren't talking about Newman this year like they were last year.
Yeah,
They kind of flying under the radar a little bit. So, but I like this Newman team, and I'm not shocked by the amount that they scored today and by how much they won over Riverside.
JB, next matchup for you. I know you're familiar with both of these schools. Did you see this score being the way it is? I mean, we call Destrehan a sleeping giant that nobody talks about that much from our area, but I'm sure they're the high praise week in and week out. They beat John Ehret tonight 24-7. All too familiar with both programs. Thoughts?
So, Ehret jumped out on Destrehan first. Jumped out on them early and had the lead for the whole first half until the last 30 seconds. Destrehan is very talented, but John Ehret is very talented. And I always tell people this, that John Ehret has so much talent. I just don't know how they're not a perennial power every year. I think they should be talked about like the Destrahans every year, but we just don't see the results. But I can tell you, this John Ehret team, they have some fight in them. They have some fight, and I really think this team's going to get better throughout the season. Destrehan, they're just loaded everywhere. And I don't know, I mean, obviously they got off to a slow start and kind of picked it up in the second half with a 24-7 win. But I'm telling you, this Destrehan team is going to get better as they go along. New quarterback, couple new players, but loaded at the skill position. And to start off slow and still hold John Ehret to 7 points still says a lot about your defense. And when you have a lot of new starters on defense also. So this Destrehan team is going to be good. They're going to be great. And I think John Ehret also will be a good team that's going to get better throughout the season.
JB, Brother Martin starting to do Brother Martin things. St. Paul's tonight, 23-10 victory. Should we think that this Brother Martin team might be a little better than they were last year?
Well, I think we can start thinking that. I mean, you know, they played a good St. Paul's team who's very disciplined on both sides of the ball. St. Paul actually has a good defense. So with Brother Martin using their weapons to the best of their abilities, and Coach Mark Bonise getting the ball to his playmakers the way that he can, we might have to look out for Brother Martin. I like Seth Days at their quarterback. He's a true pocket passer. And he can get the ball to his playmakers. And the running backs, Jordan Harris and Jordan West and Sidney Harris, a 1-2 punch combo that they have. So yeah, I think we just start looking out for the Brother Martin Crusaders, to be honest with you.
Hey, when matchups come into play and we see these teams meet up before the even season comes into play and we see these matchups, ain't you just a fan of high school football when you hear Rummel versus ULAP, you hear St. Charles Lutcher, you hear Warren Easton Catholic Baton Rouge, you hear Ruston Jesuit. The fan in you has to come out, right, my friend?
That's right, exactly. When you get matchups of big-time schools playing each other, you want to go to each one of those games. Even though you're not able to, but you want to go and see every game when you got the big-time matchups. Yes, sir.
So we look at Rummel and ULAP tonight, 20-17 victory. Rummel, heartbreaking loss a week ago. They come back and win a close one this week against a talented University Lab team, 20-17. Where are we at with Rummel? Or are we still on board in that football team?
Well, it's shocking that Rummel came back in the fourth quarter and won this game. That's the most shocking thing to me.
When we saw that score, we completely agree with you.
Yeah, that was shocking to me. So let's just say maybe, after the close loss last week and then finding a way to win this week, maybe Rummel is starting to find their identity on what type of team that they are. So I'm looking out for them. I'm going to see them next week against Archbishop Shaw in the Battle of the Megaphone. So I want to see up close and personal what identity is Rummel, throwing team, running team. I want to see. Once I see it in person, then I'm going to have a better knowledge of, if Rummel will be for real or not. So I'll get to see him next week, and I'll know better.
There you go, my friend. We'll sure chat about that Rummel team next week for sure. But before we get you on out of here, I got 3 more for you. Ruston pissed off, it seems like, and they came all the way down to New Orleans tonight and took down the Jesuit football team in their own place. I mean, Ruston ain't going nowhere anytime soon. They ran into a Warren Easton team a week ago, but 35-7, I thought this could be a little bit closer.
I didn't think so.
You like the blowout?
Yeah, I thought it'd be big.
Okay.
I thought it'd be big. It's just, Jesuit, good team, coach well. Rummel, good team, coach well. Too many athletes.
Yeah, Ruston, too many athletes?
Yeah, too many athletes for Jesuit, and they're just superior talented. So much more talented than Jesuit, and it was pick your poison for Jesuit, pretty much. Can you stop the run game? Can you stop their passing game? Can you be able to move the ball on Ruston? It was just too much, and pretty much what I figured that it'd be a big win for Ruston, and that's what happened.
Another big win tonight, back-to-back weeks slaying a giant. They went into Ruston and knocked off the Bearcats a week ago. They went into Catholic of Baton Rouge tonight and knocked off Cur-Dog theirself. Warren Easton, it's sad to think this talented football team will not be able to compete in the playoffs because of what they did the last 2 weeks. They have some ball players on this football team.
Is it okay for me to say that this is probably the best team in the state right now?
You damn well got a good point.
I mean, you go to Ruston and get that win. You go to Baton Rouge Catholic and you beat them by 20 plus. And these are 2 perennial powers of 5A football. And you're a 4A school. And you just beat these 2 schools. Look, I said it before. I said this is the most talented Warren Easton team in many years. They are talented everywhere. I'm going to say this. Next week is the big test. It's Warren Easton and Edna Carr.
There you go, my friend.
They have not beat Edna Carr in 8 years. If they beat Edna Carr,
eyebrows raised.
Eyebrows are raised, and it's legitimately a fact
You
that
smell
they are
what the Rock is
best team.
cooking.
That's right.
Go ahead, my friend.
Oh no, I was just saying that if they beat Edna Carr, it is a legitimate fact that they are the best team in the state.
I can't wait for that matchup. I hope somebody streams it. I want to see it on my screen.
It's going to be on YourView.
YourView?
YourView.
Chris said it's a shame they can't play in the playoffs. That one championship, that's aluminum. I could have been a good shot to get it this year.
Yeah, easily, without a doubt. Definitely.
Last one for you, River Parish itself. It's battle of the state champions, St. Charles, Lutcher. Two good football teams, well respected, well coached, great athletes, great football here in the state of Louisiana when these two meet up. Another instant classic, 16-14 St. Charles escapes with a win. Talk to me about that matchup.
I mean, 2 years in a row, we got an instant classic from these two schools. Remember I told you last week, the Hail Mary where St. Charles tracked down the guy at the 4-yard line, and then today, a game-winning field goal for St. Charles Catholic. It's unbelievable.
Come on now. A game-winning field goal?
Game-winning field goal. Yes, at the buzzer. Game-winning field goal for St. Charles Catholic. Look, I mean, you have two of the best programs in the entire state of Louisiana. And for them to play each other this early and to put on a show, the fans got everything that they could ask for, to be honest with you. And, you know, I know Lutcher lost, but Lutcher's going to keep their head up. They played hard. They played tough. And Lutcher's going to be a force in the playoffs. St. Charles Catholic's going to be a force in the playoffs, too. And just don't be surprised if you see both of these schools in the dome. Coach Dwayne Jenkins for Lutcher and his staff. And they got guys on their staff that I know they've done a great job. Coach Wayne Stein, who I've interviewed twice and even got to talk to in person at the coaches luncheon out here. To me, he's like a mad genius since he's taken over that program, and to win 2 state titles back to back, and now this season for people to say they're not as talented as they were last year, and you already got 2 big wins over Shaw and Lutcher, says a lot about him and the job he has done. Both these teams and coaches have done a phenomenal job. A great game tonight that they gave the River Parishes. You couldn't ask for anything else more.
There you go, my friend. It was a big week in high school football across the state of Louisiana. Y'all had some loaded matchups on your end. You know I had to get you in this week and break it all down for us, because who better than to reach out to JB and the Hash It Out show to talk a little New Orleans area football with us, my friend. Always a pleasure. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, my friend. We'll catch up this weekend. I'm going to shoot you a text as soon as we get off there.
Most definitely, my friend. I appreciate y'all having me. It's always fun. I love it.
Absolutely, my friend. Thank you again.
All right, no problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was JB from the Hash It Out show. Check them out every week. They have their sit-down show. They make their picks. They also interview coaches around the state, and it's good stuff, good time. You don't want to miss it when those guys go live. Great facts. Excuse me. Great facts, good football talk. It's good to see people around the state of Louisiana talking football from different areas. Mr. Gary.
Yes.
Mr. Alex, you heard about the New Orleans area, some big-time matchups tonight. Give me your overall thoughts after listening to those games.
Man, you had some of those that are historical powerhouses that lost. You had some that won. You have some up-and-comers. And then you got powerhouses versus powerhouses, and one got the better of the other. So you get to that part of the state, and it's hard to find a bad football team. Great games tonight, and those will continue, headlined by Carr and Warren Easton next week.
Oh, that's what I said. I was going to say. You got New Orleans has rivals, and crosstown rivals. 2-block rivals. They just from all over the place in New Orleans, and they're so good. But they're setting up that matchup for next week. Edna Carr, Warren Easton, the winner. If Warren Easton wins that, It's proven that they're the best team in the state. I agree with him 100%. And if they are the first time in what you said 8 years?
8 years.
If they do that, then they're telling.
Asterisk.
They're telling, said, put that asterisk. The LHSAA, they feel that they're getting shafted. And you know what? If they keep on doing what they're doing, they might be right.
Time will tell.
Sorry, but they might be right. Put that asterisk on there. You may win the state championship, but we're undefeated.
Yep.
All right, boys. Remember, we got headlines at the end of the. Not headlines. This ain't Wednesday night.
Now, come on, man.
This ain't Wednesday night. We got games of the night at the end of the night. Upsets of the night. We got helmet stickers to get out. And we also got UTL statement wins of the night. Who's going to win those accomplishments on tonight's show? Stick with us. You'll see it. I just want to say thank you to you guys sitting in with me. Late night edition of High School Football Recap Show. And you got a dedicated 20 plus people in the chat right now that look forward to this week in and week out. We want to say thank you so much for always spending Friday nights with us. First time at King's putting on a show here for the recap show. Thank you to our sponsor tonight, King's Truck Stop, giving us some food and some drinks here. We're enjoying ourselves.
And I want to tell you, it killed me not going with y'all, and I get know that Friday, but like I said, got to work for a living, got to do what you got to do.
Absolutely.
But man, I want to thank you for taking my place and making it a success. It was awesome, man.
Hey, let's start right there then. The game we covered tonight, we're about to go do a Friday list before I get us to the things, and then I get Mr. Ray on the phone if he's still awake out there. Mr. Ray, if you're still awake out there, comment in the chat. Mentorship Academy, Baker. The rivalry was talked about, but we've seen it on full display tonight. It was a weird setting. Nope. There he is. He's there.
Yeah.
It was a weird setting. No fans in the home bleachers. Everybody pushed into the visitors bleachers because all the destruction that was going on with the building of the new high school. And then we just got the football game. And it started off kind of slow. Penalties were plagued by both sides. And then we saw some big-time plays from big-time players. A lot of guys stood out tonight. A lot of guys made special moments that it's going to be hard to pick a play of the game, but we did have a player of the game tonight. Yep. Number 7 from Baker. Congratulations. You won player of the game honors, sponsored by Whipster's Manifest and Crawfish House and Grill. So thank you to those guys for sponsoring and giving that young man his honor.
Absolutely.
Penalties were the storyline, and big plays was the storyline also.
Yeah. When the ball moved forward, it was in chunks, but the ball moved back a lot tonight too.
Gary, one team went into tonight's game with 22 eligible players.
Correct.
One team went into tonight's game with 26 eligible players. A lot of both teams were plagued by the injury bug here from week 1. So it was who had the most fatigue at the end type of matchup, because it was cramps left and right.
Right. Well, I got a chance to watch a little part of it, of the game, and I didn't get a chance to because I was working, and so I broke away from what we were doing, and I got a chance to watch a little bit of it, then I had to go back. But from what I was seeing, it was like you said, it was you saw a lot of people going down. You had people that were staying on the ground after a play, and they just couldn't get back up, or so you could tell the fatigue was getting in there, the cramps, everything. It was starting to take effect on both teams.
Yes,
For sure.
Hey, before we get into the rest of these games, I just want to say I did terrible this week picking games.
I think we all did terrible, man.
What a terrible week picking games this week, because the matchups were just that damn good. But made some bonehead picks this week. I'll own up to it. I'll eat my crow.
I'm with you too. I picked some people that I had questions on, and they let me down.
Yes, indeed. All right, Friday Night Football. Let's get after it, ladies and gentlemen. Baker walks out, first home game of the season, 18-14 victory. If you go back and rewatch that game, You're going to see a fired up commentating team from tonight. We were the only ones on that sideline, but you can hear us from a mile away because we had a lot of emotion in calling that game tonight, Mr. Alex.
Yeah, it was a blast.
Livonia Pine Prairie, ladies and gentlemen, we talked about this matchup. Livonia would come into this one motivated after a tough loss last week. Pine Prairie, we saw what they did last week. They scored a lot of points against Oberlin, correct?
Yeah.
But could not finish the deal. So what would happen when they went down to L-Town this week and go play in the jungle, which Livonia calls their stadium? We talked about it. Livonia, 28-0 victory, shutout at home. Got to feel good for Coach Laborde and his crew getting into the win column after a tough loss last week.
Most definitely, and you gotta think that they're better than what that showing last week did. But they played against a tough Red Devil team last week. But they came out on all cylinders this week, and they really shut them down. So I'm impressed. Very impressed.
Hey, we saw this next score and our mouths just dropped. Not because of the score, but because it took 3 overtimes to get the job done tonight. ERAF and North Vermilion, an instant classic to say the least, ladies and gentlemen. That game ended 23-15. It took 3 overtimes to decide that winner. Nobody wanted to budge tonight. They wanted that game badly, and you could tell of how much hearts were broken on that field and how much celebration was on that field.
Look,
congratulations, North Vermilion. Heck of an effort.
Yeah, North Vermilion, you look up, once or twice a year, and they do one of these. They put one of these in the playoffs last year. They went 3 or 4 overtimes and won the game.
Right.
And those kids they don't give up over there.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Keep
not.
going. Don't stop.
Hey, Basile and Ville Platte, we covered the game last year. We knew they were coming into Bearcat country this weekend. They don't lose many games over there.
Right.
They play really well at their home field. They love to play in front of their crowd. The band's rolling. The PA announcer with his famous phrase that we love so much. But Ville Platte came in. They played Sacred Heart tough a week ago. Now they come back and play Basile tough this week. 21-20. Scare. If you're a Bearcat fan, you just squeaked by a Bulldog team that was hungry for a win tonight.
Right.
What a game. What a game that must have been in person, and what hold your breath type of moment right there.
But what a way for the Bearcats to just come out and just say, oh no, we're not going to let this happen, and come out on top. So
yeah, Ville Platte.
Congratulations.
Ville Platte pushed to come back late. They were trailing for majority of that game. I think it was 21-0 at one point. And then special teams still matters, my friend.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Third of a game, it still comes into play, and it can win and lose games, and we're on display tonight. Congratulations to the Bearcats, 21-20. They moved to 1-1 on the season. Big time matchup next week with Sacred Heart.
Right.
Westminster Christian Academy hosted Grand Lake tonight. They unveiled their brand new track tonight. Hey, congratulations. They honored the state champion track girls team tonight. So they had a lot of things going on the campus, a lot of emotion.
Right.
And when I tell you, they came in and defended their home turf up against a really good Grand Lake football team year in and year out, always in that conversation of making those playoff runs. Tonight, it would be Crusaders with a big-time win, 23-12. Holy cow. That's a huge win for that program.
That is a big win for Crusaders. I mean, you can't say anything more than wow.
Absolutely. They needed it. They got it. Congratulations, coach over there. First career win from everyone here.
Right, most definitely.
Hey, next up, you talk about big wins. You talk about big points. And you talk about big-time players on this Lake Arthur football team. 65 big ones tonight at home against Mamou. Mamou 32. When you score 32, you don't usually lose ball games.
Right.
But this offense from Lake Arthur has to be the real deal, led by that talented quarterback. I heard he went off tonight. We saw the stat line. A buddy of ours that is part of the team talked to us on the way to the recap show and said he had another monster night. I'm excited to see that young man play in a couple weeks because I do get to cover their game coming up. First time that I would get to cover Lake Arthur, so we'll see what happens down the road. But congratulations, Lake Arthur, 2-0 on the young season. Watch out for that football team, Alex.
Yep, could be scary for a few teams down the road to get in district play.
Hey, Vinton and Maryville battled it out tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Vinton at home gets their first win of the season and a first win for the brand new head football coach over there, 26-8 over Maryville. Congratulations to Vinton. South Beauregard and Rose Pine. I told you on Wednesday night I had question marks about this Rose Pine offense. I had no questions about their defense. We said, can they get their offense clicking? Man, they went into South Bow tonight and got shut out 28-0. I did not see that score coming. I figured South Bow might win this game. I thought it was going to be a close defensive struggle, but 28-0. That's a big time win for South Bow, knowing the district that they're in down the road.
No, I don't think anybody saw that.
Everybody in that locker room, I guess South Bow believe they can get that win. So it's one of those where Pope Barry got a win last week for their locker room. I think South Bow did it tonight for their locker room.
Probably, yes, most definitely.
Hey, the Ville is back. Northside, 2-0 on the young season. 36-6 victory tonight over Washington Marion. Coach Carter over there doing tremendous work. His coaching staff, they believe in the program. The players have bought in. I can't wait to see the future of Northside football. Big time win tonight. Congratulations. Turlings and Avoyles. This matchup, it was good a few years ago. But lately, it's getting to that point where Turlings is just taking off to another level, led by that talented quarterback, Preston, and that football team. We saw some highlights. We saw some pictures. It's a good-looking team.
Yeah,
that's a well-coached team over there. You got some friends over there that's on the staff. We know this is a talented Turlings football team. I can't wait to see what they do the rest of the year. That district's going to be a heck of a good district another year.
Yeah.
Led by some talented quarterbacks.
Turlings has been waiting to just get a couple of more pieces to get them over the hump, and they might just have it this year.
I believe so. I believe they're better this year than they were last year. But that's just me. I'm not sure how y'all feel about it, but that's
I agree with you.
Hey, Lowerville and DeQuincy tonight. Not the big score that we thought here. We put this down as maybe could be a Lowerville runaway, but DeQuincy held their own tonight and held Lowerville to 13 points on the scoreboard. So defense must have played with their minds out tonight and played like they had possession. And what I'm trying to get at, offense didn't get it done.
Right.
But good showing from the defense. Lowerville moves to 2-0 on the season, and Holly's lock of the week is now 2-0. Congratulations, Holly Revere Taylor, on the lock of the week, 2-0. Who will she pick next week? Maybe the Raiders. We'll see.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a bad pick, Holly.
We'll see. Final score was 13-0, by the way. Lafayette, Como, that was a good time. Lafayette type of matchup there. Who would win this one? Lafayette High gets the win tonight. Big fashion, 35-14. So the Lions over the Spartans. Congratulations to Lafayette.
Still need a Lafayette High helmet, guys. Remember that.
We'll get him one day. Sam Houston, back-to-back weeks, big-time numbers. They must be slinging it all over the yard. They must have a talented quarterback, a good receiving core, good up front. I don't know much about Sam Houston, but I'm damn sure about the fixing to learn, because that's back-to-back weeks of big-time wins for the program. They take down Nish tonight in big fashion.
Before we came for the show, I actually watched some of the recaps, and it was unbelievable. They are very, very explosive.
41-7.
41-7, yes, sir.
Yeah, you know, that part of the state has a lot of talent. So much so that some of these teams, they don't look as good as other teams because those teams are just so much more talented, you know. But Sam Houston might be putting something together this year. It'd be a team to look at.
Go ahead, Gary.
If you look at the Lake Charles area, they have they have a lot of good teams.
Yeah.
That the talent is just spread out so much. They remind me of New Orleans in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But New Orleans has just been, they got so much talent out there. But Lake Charles is getting there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, most definitely.
You want to know who's talented?
Who that?
The Night Train, baby.
Oh, yeah.
The Night Train rolled down to Baton Rouge, another game this week. And big time points from this offense again, but nobody is giving the defense their credit. They went on the road and held Woodlawn and Baton Rouge to 14 points tonight. That's an impressive thing to me tonight. We know the offense can score. We know Juwan Johnson's going to do what he does. But when the defense can go on the road and give up 14 to a 5A program like Woodlawn or Baton Rouge, that's well coached themselves with Coach Randall.
Right, most definitely.
LCA is the real deal. I think they're going to go to state this year, and I think it's a redemption year waiting to happen after the way they fell in the Dome last year.
Right, most definitely.
And
They got a chip on their shoulders, man.
And Gatorade, you won't have to worry. It's Juwan Johnson.
Yeah,
you could write up the article now.
Right. You're right. You're right.
Hey, Westlake might be that team that people need to start taking a little more notice to, because all they did tonight was go into Welsh and go put the foot on the pedal and put up 55 good ones tonight. As back-to-back weeks, this Westlake offense has looked really, really good.
Right.
Keep your close eye out on Westlake moving forward, ladies and gentlemen. They're in that talented district. They got some big-time games ahead. I can't wait to see this Westlake team, what they do moving forward. 55-27, that's a final at Welsh tonight.
Right.
Hey, we challenged, I don't think we challenged, but we talked about OHS Wednesday night. We said, would it be 3 weeks in a row where we just was not the standard of what they're accustomed to playing since last year?
Right.
We said it was going to be a tough matchup. You got to go up north. You got to go play Jess Curtis and Natchitoches Central. You know Coach Curtis had his team ready to go, but I'm sure Coach Jimmy got his team in the locker room this week and challenged those guys and said we need to get back to Opelousas High football.
Right.
And for them to go up there and play the way they did tonight, I think they needed that more than ever.
Right.
Yeah, I was
impressed.
I was impressed too. We were talking about it and said, man, we don't know. You know, you go up there and you go up against a coach with state championships and a ton of wins under his belt. You don't know how that's going to translate. But hats off to OHS, they did it.
Absolutely. It looked like they put together a complete game tonight. They might have kept the turnovers away. They might have won the line of scrimmage. I don't know. I don't have the highlights in front of me, but I just want to say congratulations. Big time win on the road tonight, 40-28, convincing fashion. It looks like They have not scored 40 these last 2 weeks, and they got their offense rolling tonight. So big time win.
Right.
Hey, the battle of the O's tonight. Who was going to win it tonight? Oberlin High School versus Oakdale High School. The initials what? OHS?
Right.
Right, basically. Battle of the O's, it would be the Warriors that would get the better of Oberlin tonight. 22-0 shutout win. Offense and defense. And this one gets it done for Oakdale.
Mikey got that offense clicking right now. Good job, Mikey.
Hey, it would be a homecoming waiting to happen when Coach Harper took this job at Marksville. He went back home to his alumni. He was the head football coach, like what was it, like the last 8 years at Sacred Heart. He turned that program around, won some big-time matchups throughout the years, and was always seemed like he was in the playoff format.
Right.
Now he has a job to do at Marksville, turn that program around from a 1-9 season a year ago, and he would get a homecoming welcome, I'm not sure, but going back to Sacred Heart this week and playing a road game with his Marksville Tigers coming in 1-0, which sent a lot of people around the state buzzing.
Right.
Could they start off 2-0? That was the question mark. Well, he had his team ready to play back-to-back weeks. 30-12 final score over Sacred Heart tonight. I'm sure that one feels good to get that one off his back.
Right. I think, anytime you go back to where you've been for so many years, you go in there and it's a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, but also a lot of excitement just to get in there and do it. And he had his team ready. Good job.
Yeah, they might have gave him a few hand claps before the game. I don't know how many he got after.
We won't talk about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you a believer? Are you on board with this Bunkie football team? What we've seen them do in the Jamboree. What we've seen them do week 1 against Catholic upon the P. Now they shut out Patterson in week 2, 26-0. And I heard their quarterback got hurt tonight. And they still pitch a shutout and win this one by 4 scores. Are you a believer, Mr. Gary? Are you on board with the Bunkie football team? Because this defense is insane.
I think Bunkie has improved so much, and I think they're a force to be reckoned with right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Bunkie, they're looking good, so we'll see. Time will tell, but so far so good.
Absolutely, my friend. One of my favorite teams from this beginning of the seasons is that Bunkie football team, and I'm keeping a very close eye on them moving forward. Ascension Episcopal Vermilion Catholic. Boy, this game lived up to the hype.
Absolutely.
It came down to the wire. It came down to a 2-point win for the Screaming Eagles tonight on the road. I'm sure that environment was nuts. I'm sure the way that game ended was nuts. I want to know how this one ended. All I have for you is a score, 30-28. Vermilion Catholic on the road knocks off Ascension Episcopal tonight. What a win. What a game. What a story to tell.
Most definitely.
Yeah, we were watching that score all night, and we were looking at it like, man, this is going to end up being a heck of a game, and sure enough, it was. They're having a good time.
Yeah, they enjoying themselves.
Gary, me and Alex looked at the next score. It was 28-0 at one point. Tioga was leading Breaux Bridge. All Breaux Bridge did was storm all the way back and tie this baby up 28-all. And we were shook for a second. We said, can they pull it off? At the end, Tioga on the road knocks off Breaux Bridge 34-28. What an effort. What a comeback. Almost did the unthinkable tonight.
Right. To go into Breaux Bridge is hard to win. But to dominate and then have Breaux Bridge come all the way back and then to just scratch out and claw and get that final score to go ahead and win, that takes a lot.
A lot of resilience for both teams.
Yes.
A lot of teams nowadays, you get down 28-0, especially early, they just roll over and we'll play next week. But Breaux Bridge didn't do that, and then Tioga didn't let that comeback get to them. That's a great game. It's good to see in high school football where those both teams don't give up when adversity hits.
Right. I agree.
Hey, Notre Dame Pios, baby. You better take notice. You called it Wednesday night on the show. I didn't listen to you, but I might have to listen to you from now on, my friend, because this man got knowledge, ladies and gentlemen. Pios.
I get lucky sometimes.
St. Martinville, 2 weeks in a row, were dumbfounded on the show and shocked about how they performed in those matchups. They played some talented football teams, but have been on the wrong end of it. Right?
Yeah.
27-7 was the final score.
Really? Notre Dame is always good. Notre Dame is going to always be consistent as far as, making a statement. So, that doesn't surprise me, but, I think they're going to be dominant this year.
Man, that's just one of those statement type of nights where Pios say, hey, we know we've lost the last 3 years, to the same team. And we're ready to finish this mission now. Can we do it? That's a good start to the season for sure, after coming off of a loss last week to Southside. Jennings Eunice, good old football here. I don't know if it's a rivalry, but it should be.
Should be.
Because of these two teams for sure. Jennings on the road tonight, another statement type of win. 28-6 at Bobcat Stadium. I didn't see that score coming.
Not that score, not one-sided like that. I thought it was going to be, a real close game. But, hey, hats off, to go down there, to go 2 units and do that. All I can say is congratulations.
That's
Tough place to win.
That's a heck of a win. Congratulations, Coach Fusilier, in his first career win
Right.
at Jennings.
Right.
Church Point and Kinder, we watched the fourth quarter while we was tearing down our equipment and getting ready to head back here to Opelousas. Mr. Alex, that's a big-time road win for Kinder, and what we've been accustomed to, Mr. Gary. When you talk about changing the culture fast,
Right.
what Coach Reed has done there at Kinder, he's got those guys believing again that the standard is the standard at Kinder, and those last few years have not been what they've been accustomed to, and I think Kinder could have a special year this year under new leadership.
Most definitely. And to go into Church Point and do it at that stadium
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah.
Now, we
That was a
talked about
14-6 final.
right, and we talked about that. Yes, Church Point is probably a little down. They're rebuilding a little bit, but guess what? They're still Church Point, and you still got to go into that stadium and play.
Yeah.
So I think that in itself is amazing. Congratulations, Kinder. Y'all did a great job.
That's 3 weeks in a row. Tough losses for the Battling Bears at home. The Jamboree, Abbeville pulled off a fumble recovery for a win. Eunice last week, 4th and goal from the 1, getting a stop. This
Right.
week, a 14-6 defensive showdown with Kinder. But I'm not ready to give up on the Battling
Oh,
Bears
no.
yet. But
Oh, no.
it's just adversity has hit their program after
Right.
3 tough losses.
Church Point is always going to be tough. And I'll be honest with you, don't count them out this year. This is just week 2. They got 8 more games that they're going to have to play, and they got a tough district to go through. I say tough. There's certain teams in that district that are going to be real tough. So they still got to run for the district championship. They still got a good chance of doing it. But, they're going to have to clean some things up. That's all there is to it.
Good.
You could have covered me
My
right
bad.
there.
I didn't catch it. It's late.
Yeah.
Or early, should I say?
Iowa rain met tonight. Iowa got the better and bounced back from a loss last week, 35-18 on the road. Still believe it is Iowa football team.
Oh, yeah.
Semifinal appearance last year. Tough loss on the road last week to Iota.
Mm-hmm.
They can still run the table.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. They can still take it and, just sometimes you just got to get up, shake yourself off, and keep going. That's what they got to do.
St. Thomas More doesn't look like they're slowing down anytime soon. Talented football team marching towards New Orleans. 49-21 victory tonight over Alexandria. And the Crow Dome was rocking. How about a 60-piece from this offense tonight? 60-14 win over Bard. The Crow Dome is for real again.
The Crow Dome is always for real. And so I gotta say one thing. When you go into Karen Crow and you play in the open air Crow Dome, guess what? You better be on your best. You better bring your A game, because if you bring your B, C, or D game, you ain't gonna get nowhere. And that's what happened tonight.
So we picked Southside. That could repeat in this district. Acadiana could very well be the team. But Karen Crow, back-to-back weeks, making a statement saying, we could be that team to
Right.
win this district. So we'll keep an eye on that district. It's phenomenal. It's like an 8 or a 9 team district. So we'll see. Acadiana tonight, big time road win over Sulphur, 35-7.
Right. 35-7. That means they literally just went in there and did what they had to do.
I mean, Veer to Veer was in full display.
Yes.
I believed in the Sulphur team earlier this week. I expected a really good football game here,
Right.
but Acadiana proved me wrong.
Right. Well, I watched a little bit of before the show. I watched a little bit of the the recap on TV, and they showed they did exactly what they did. Like I said, just pound it, and when you got it, they got a break. It was like,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what happened. So, Fear the Veer, it didn't go very far, and it's back. I think so. Look out.
Gina Leesville, we found out last week this is 2 good football teams. We found out again this week they are great football teams.
Right.
It was a 22-20 road win for the Gina Giants. Come on now, Gina. You got me, how you say that? You got my attention.
Yeah, most definitely. Gina is a ball club that has been consistent for a while.
Yeah.
And, yes, they haven't gone and won any championships or anything like that, but they've been consistently winning, the games that they're supposed to win.
Yeah.
And every once in a while they win a game that they're not supposed to win.
Yeah.
So it's good. Just keep it up.
Hey, Southside Cecilia played the game of the year, in my opinion, in week 2. I know there's going to be phenomenal games the rest of the way. I know that there will be maybe games that could top this. But if you told me Cecilia was that good this year, I wouldn't have believed you after coming off last year. But the quarterback must be the truth. He must be the missing piece, and they must be the one that makes the engine go. Southside, talented group, district champs a year ago. We thought they could possibly make their run towards a semifinal appearance this year. 49-46 final score. Southside on the road tonight at Cecilia gets a win in thrilling fashion. What a win.
Yeah,
Most
we
definitely.
were looking at that. Every time we gave a score update tonight, we're looking at that score. It's like, wow. It's just back and forth. And man, Cecilia, they didn't win, but you pretty much made a statement saying that we can hang with the big dogs of the area.
Most definitely.
Westgate and Lake Charles College Prep met up tonight. A lot of people thought this would be a dominant win from Westgate. A lot of people thought this would be competitive on both sides. We would get the first option. Westgate, no troubles tonight on the road. Hello, Westgate. We see you. You can calm that offense down a little bit.
Yeah.
Or you can march right on down to New Orleans. We'll meet you there. So, great win for Coach over there at Westgate. What he's done these last few years is tremendous. In another year, it looks like Westgate's in contention to get there.
Most definitely.
And then the Warren Easton Catholic Baton Rouge game, guys. Thoughts?
Be scared of Warren Easton. Because I'm going to tell you right now, be scared. They have everything to play for, just to prove somebody wrong. And it's not us. It's somebody that's way above our powers. They want to prove them wrong.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to tell you, that game coming up next week is going to be the deciding factor if they get their season the way that they want it. I think that's going to be the turning point of the season for them either way. If they beat Edna Carr, I see them just going straight through. If not, they're going to get even more mad. And they're going to come back and even come back. So look out.
Hey,
Yeah.
St. Charles and Lutcher, another classic tonight. 2 good football teams, 2 state champions. Overall thoughts?
That's always a competitive game. Athletes all over the field, well coached. State championship appearances and wins for both teams often. anytime those two teams on the field, it's going to be one of the best games of the night.
Most definitely, and you got when you got two teams to the quality and the experience that they have. I mean, they're winners. That's all you can say is they're winners, and they keep winning. It's a shame that somebody has to lose a game like that, you know. But,
sure is fun to watch.
But yeah, it is back and forth.
Other scores of interest: North Central with a home win tonight over Gaydon. Good job, Hurricanes. East Beauregard blowout win tonight against Pickering, 48-6. Elton moves 2-0 on the season with a 35-6 over Northwood Lena. And Catholic of Point-de-Pee falls 7-6 over Liberty Magnet.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a tough one to swallow. Hey, at this time, let's go ahead and get to games of the night, upsets of the night, UTL statement wins of the night, and helmet stickers of the night. And then if you guys got to go, I'll wrap things up here with Mr. Ray.
Okay, that's fine.
Games of the night, ladies and gentlemen. We'll start off with Mr. Gary Swallow.
I got three. I did three of each this week because I didn't get a chance to go and cover the game, so I just wanted to just give you my three. First of all, Northwest. Got to give them some love. Northwest over Crowley. I think that was a game of the night. It was last night, but you know what I mean. Yeah. They did an awesome job. They went ahead. They rebounded, did what they had to do. OHS over Natchitoches Center. I got to give that was just rebound, coming back, doing what they had to do. That to me, that was a game of the night. And a game of the night that really needed to be a state. It's almost like a statement win, but I like it because that's my favorite team. Acadiana beating Suffolk. I think that those are three games that really elevated my interest right now.
Alex, games of the night.
Yeah, I got five. First one starting one we covered tonight, Baker and Mentorship. Big rivalry, good game. Baker ended up coming out on top. Last night, Southern Lab, Madison Prep. Two powerhouses that went at it. Kinder and Church Point tonight. You know, it's little school versus a little bit bigger school. Kinder came out with the win. Gina and Leesville. So two solid programs that went at it. And then my number one game of the night was Cecilia and Southside.
Hey, games of the night for myself. Southside over Cecilia, more like a game of the year.
Yeah.
Vermilion Catholic over Ascension Episcopal, that 2-point win. St. Charles over Lutcher, another 2-point win. Airline over Union Parish tonight. That was a 4-point shootout. I like that as a game of the night. Neville over Washington Parish, another 4-point win. And Gina over Leesville, a 2-point win. So many great matchups tonight. So many good games that we can go on and brag about the rest of the night if we wanted to. Gary, any upsets tonight?
Well, yeah, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if you want to call it an upset, but I think it is. North Central beating, what did you say, Gaydon?
Gaydon.
I think that was an upset. I don't think none of us thought that North Central was going to beat Gaydon on that. Westminster Christian Academy.
Over Grand Lake?
Over Grand Lake. I think that is just another one. Nobody expected that at all. And honestly, it's not really an upset, but I think it's an upset because of the strength that Catholic has always had. Warren Easton beating Catholic of Baton Rouge. I think they proved that, hey, I want it. We're going to do it over a Catholic of Baton Rouge team. That's all I got to give it to those.
Alex?
Yeah, Mr. Gary, 3 out of my 4 are the ones you named, so
okay.
Good minds think alike.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm going to give Jennings over Eunice. Nobody really was talking about Jennings this year. They had to go to Eunice, and they won that game, so I see that as upset in my eyes. Congratulations, Jennings.
Okay. Westminster over Grand Lake after the success Grand Lake has had these last few years. North Central over Gaydon. When North Central wins a football game, the entire parish feels really, really good about it.
Right.
And to win against Gaydon tonight, that's a big time upset win from a Gaydon team that won a lot of games last year.
Right.
Calvary Baptist over Captain Shreve. I don't like to call it an upset, 1A versus 5A. We'll call it that on paper.
David and Goliath.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
UTL statement win of the night goes to who?
I got, honestly, Jennings over Eunice. Washita Christian over Oak Grove. I mean, I'm sorry, that was two battle of 2 times statement wins. And you can say what you want. It was such a good ball game, Southside over Secede.
There you go, my friend. Alex, statement wins of the night goes to who?
Yeah, I had Washita Christian, Oak Grove. I had St. Louis beating Iota. Was a statement win in my eyes. St. Louis definitely has a program this year, and beating Iota proved that.
Right.
I had Northwest versus Crowley being a statement win for Northwest. We were talking about it at the game last night, and pretty sure that's the most points Northwest has put up, especially in the most recent history, 5-10 years. Vermilion Catholic and Ascension, I think that was a statement win. And then OHS going to Natchitoches Central.
Right.
And, Newton Jess and all, at Natchitoches Central, and they still beat them. And that's a statement win.
Most definitely.
Washita Christian over Oak Grove in dominant fashion.
Right.
If this game is close, if it comes down to the wire, I don't think it's a statement win.
No.
But the way they pulled off that victory, I got to give it to Washita Christian. South Beauregard has not won many games these last few years, and they go and shut out Rose Pine, that's been in the quarterfinals the last 2 years. That's a statement win. Opelousas High struggles the last few weeks. Got to go and play a talented Natchitoches Central team with a really good head football coach, and they win this one by the score they did on the road. That's a statement.
Right.
Notre Dame over St. Martinville, that wasn't even close.
Nope.
Piles, statement. And then Kinder over Church Point tonight on the road. Yellow Jackets made a statement
Most
tonight.
definitely.
We got to give out some helmet stickers, ladies and gentlemen. Who deserves a helmet sticker from the panel?
I got 3.
Go for it.
North Central.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Got to get one
Congratulations.
for that. Westminster Christian Academy. Not expected. Got to give them a sticker.
There it is.
OHS. Coming back and doing what they had to do. Got them a sticker.
St. Andrew Parish
St.
Love
Andrew
right
Parish
there.
Love right there. That's it.
I got a sticker for Marksville. It's really more for the coach than the team. When you go back and play at a place, coach at a place that you've coached at before, especially for a good amount of time, there's a lot of emotion that goes into that because you build connections at places you're at. So for being able to go and win that game and do what he did, become a sticker. Kinder for going into Church Point and winning that game. Last year that was a very close game
That was a great
as
game
well,
last year.
and had a little too many mistakes at the end of the game to pull that one off. But they also came in this year and pulled it off.
Right.
So helmet sticker for them. And then Warren Easton, I'm gonna give them a helmet sticker because look, whenever you
Back-to-back
start off
weeks.
your season and you're told, hey, you can't play for a state championship no matter how good you are, a lot of teams would just be like, well, what's the point? But
Yeah.
no, they're pissed off and they're gonna say, we're gonna beat everybody that we play, and we're gonna show you that
We
the only
deserve
reason anybody else won a state championship is because we wasn't allowed. And I think that deserves a helmet sticker.
Most definitely.
Corey Easton next week, baby.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now. Wherever it's at, I'm gonna be doing this to try to find that score. I'll be looking up on my. Okay, where's it at? Where's it at?
Helmet stickers for myself. Got 5 of them, and it's 5 new coaches getting a win tonight. 4 of those 5, it's their first win of their career at that school. Baker gets a helmet sticker tonight. Coach Dortez and that
Right.
Buffalo football team gets a helmet sticker tonight. Congratulations on your first career win at Baker. Westminster Christian Academy, big win tonight over a proven Grand Lake football team. That's his first win of his
Right.
career at Westminster. Jennings, Coach Fusilaire's first career win at Jennings tonight. And Vinton, brand new head football coach there, his first win as a brand new head football coach at Vinton. And then I'm with you, Marksville, the homecoming, the big win. He's got his team 2-0. I like Baker, Westminster, Marksville, Jennings, Vinton. That's my helmet stickers for tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Well deserved, all of them.
Absolutely. Gary, you heading out?
Gotta run, guys. I got an early thing. I gotta work tomorrow.
Hey.
I gotta be at the office by 6.
Close
so
us
guess
out.
what?
Go take a nap.
Gary, close us out of your thoughts of week 1 and give us a little taste of week 2.
Week 1 was awesome. I had a lot. I know. Week 2 and 3. I was getting ready. He cut me off before I was gonna bust him.
It's late, guys.
Week 2 was great. Week 3 is going to be so much more intense, especially with that. But the excitement that you've seen in week 2 is only going to get better as it's gone, because they got some great matchups later on down in the year. But hey, week 2 is done. Let's get ready for week 3, and I'm ready for it. So let's get her done.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of good matchups. You know, week 1 had a lot of good matchups. Week 2 had a lot of good matchups. But man, I tell you, these schedules, non-district schedules, are just outstanding. They have been for the last 2 or 3 years. Whoever's making them, keep doing it, because we're enjoying it.
Yeah, whoever puts together these non-district schedules for the competition, I'm gonna tell you right now, all I can tell you is that keep doing it, like you say, keep doing it. That's the most enjoyment that we've had in a long time to some of these matchups that don't have to be played, but they want to play.
We don't have to wait until the playoffs.
We missed a big one tonight.
No, we see some wild games all year now.
We missed a big one.
What's that?
Zachary and John Curtis.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. But man, we got wild games all year now. Wild games all year.
Swallow. We'll see you at the Pooh Bear game tomorrow.
Yes, sir. I'll be
Red
there.
Devils,
It might be a little bit late,
Beauchamp,
Alex.
2 o'clock.
Thank you for everything. And
Kickoff.
see you on Wednesday, buddy.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you at the Wednesday night show. We'll see you tomorrow night.
All right.
If you need anything, call my friend. We're going to
I
finish
will.
this up. We're about to fix and call Ray. Talk some
Okay.
North Louisiana football. So if you're on the way home,
On
if
the
you
way
want to
home,
put us
I'm
on the radio,
I'm gonna be listening.
go for it, my friend.
Y'all have a good one, guys. Thank y'all. Enjoy the rest of the show.
You leaving, Jim? Let me use your phone. Oh, that's black.
Hello.
Well, God damn it, Ray, you're up past 1. I guess you're waiting for some late night recap show with Under the Lights. What's going on, my man?
Yeah, man, I was staying up just for you guys.
Absolutely, my friend. I heard it was a tough loss tonight. How you say that? I'm sorry about the loss tonight. I'm sure y'all called a great game.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. It was an exciting game. If you don't know, they play some good football in North Louisiana. I've got about 6 teams I'm going to talk about that I think are state. I got to get off your live stream. I'm coming over it, but
I got 10 for you.
yeah. Well, so the game I was at, it ended 14-12. Cedar Creek held Vidalia to 89 yards of offense. Incredible defense. But tip your hat to Vidalia. They made plays when they had to. They had a big punt return for a touchdown. Had a big post play in the corner of the end zone, or a pass route, and scored the 2 touchdowns they needed to win. And 2 touchdowns was all they needed tonight. So that game ended 14-12. I'll run through all the scores real quick. I think y'all have covered some of them. I'll just kind of hit the highlights, and then I'll talk about some of these guys. I think we've got a contender in North Louisiana in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5A, and Division 4. I think we have 2. So Cedar Creek Vidalia was Vidalia 14, Cedar Creek 12. Homer went to Minden. Homer 1A played a 4A Minden, won 26-20. 1A St. Fred's plays 4A St. Fred's. Franklin Parish. Franklin Parish wins 59-31. Ruston, I know y'all talked about this one, but Ruston wins 35, Jesuit 7. West Washita plays Jonesboro Hodge, wins 44-0. Game of the night, OCS Oak Grove. I thought it was a flip a coin game. I thought it could go to anyway.
OCS just dominated. They do what they do. Tate Hamby's one of the best athletes in Louisiana. He has an 85-yard punt return, 28-7 OCS over Oak Grove. That's 2 state champions battling it out tonight. Already in week 2, we get 2 state champions. What's going on? Neville beats Ouachita 19-15. Bastrop beats Delhi Charter, another 1A versus 3A, 42-36. Richwood stomps Rayville 46-18. Gina and Leesville Wampus Cats, I know y'all talked about those guys, but Gina wins again, 22-20. Jordan, I think Gina might be for real.
I couldn't agree more.
West Monroe 34, East Ascension 20. Airline beats Union by 4, 48-44. Caldwell beats Winfield 46-19. Glenbrook, another Division 4 team I'm going to talk about, beats 4A Bossier 28-6. Haynesville goes to Arkansas, plays Harmony Grove, I think they're a 3A power, beat them 21-20. Sterlington absolutely manhandles an incredible Mangum team, 41-0. That's my shocker of the night. Arcadia over Delhi 24-20. Logan Sport on top of Loyola 40-7. Lakeside beats Ringgold 41-16. We talked about Airline Union. So let me just run through this real quick, and then you can ask me anything you want to ask me. But right now for me, in North Louisiana, in 1A, I see Homer, I see Haynesville, and I see Logan Sport as all 3 legitimate dome contenders. All 3 of those guys are just playing incredible ball right now. 2A, and Mangum. And so I've got 4 in North Louisiana that I think can make noise. 2A, do we have a 2? 2A. Is Gina 2A or 3A, aren't they?
3A.
Yeah, Gina's 3A. I don't know if they're going to be a dome contender, but, man, I think they'll be sniffing around the semis. In Division 4, it's OCS and everybody else.
Absolutely.
There is no one
It's not
in
even
Division
close
4.
after tonight, unless Calvary Baptist would magically drop back down.
You know, and OCS beat Calvary Baptist in the scrimmage.
Yeah. So
But Calvary outscored them in the untimed portion. But OCS is just on a completely different level. Tate Hamby's on a different level, and big boy ball in 4A, Neville's always going to be there. They're always going to be around. And Ouachita under Benji Lewis, they're looking really good, but Neville too much for them, 19-15. And Ruston, I mean Ruston's my pick in 5A right now. I know they lost to Warren Easton, but I think Warren Easton's the best team in the state, regardless of classification, select, non-select, whatever. I think Warren Easton is the top of the food chain. Too bad they can't participate in the playoffs this year.
absolutely, my friend.
So those are in Division 4, Glenbrook is going to make a ton of noise. The only problem is they're going to have to run into OCS. You know, Glenbrook and OCS met up in the semis last year.
Correct.
Glenbrook lost by 1.
Absolutely.
Glad to see that rematch.
What's that?
He said he would love to see that rematch. I'm not sure that Glenbrook team from this year is the same as last year. Would you agree?
No, I saw them both. Last year's was definitely better. They were definitely better at the quarterback position, definitely better at some skill spots, but they're real good right now. I mean, they just beat 4A Bossier 28-6.
Right.
And look, they play Haynesville and Homer too on the regular season. That district has Glenbrook, Haynesville, and Homer in the same district.
You just see somebody over the summer at a 7-on-7, and it's like, man, they're just walking different. They're just standing different. It looks like they're back, and they're proving the last 2 weeks that they are back.
Yeah, you're 100% right. But and you know, Evangel's doing this with a 27-man roster,
That's crazy.
and they're playing up 3 classes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my highlights of the night. You guys got any questions about North Louisiana? We had some great matchups with OCS Oak Grove, Neville, Ouachita,
Man,
West Monroe, East Ascension.
What a week 2 of games around the state, especially up north.
Man, it's crazy. It is crazy the level of ball we're getting in week 1, 2, and 3 these days. I love it. I love it.
I gotta know your perspective here on, should we give up on Manny or a win tonight should tell everybody to pump the brakes and say just let them play the season out because they could still be a contender after a win tonight over the Ritter?
I don't know if they're a contender, but I don't think they're going to be maybe as bad as people were thinking they were, after Jamboree in week 1. You got to understand the improvement that's going to come with these kids that are learning a new system and new coaches. They just lost an All-American linebacker. They lost half their coaching staff. All new system, all new way of doing things. It's all just different. So when it's different, it takes time. And for the casual fan, that's hard to understand.
Okay, now we go with Jess Curtis for a second. He welcomed in Opelousas High tonight. I think they played at Northwestern State, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
That matchup there, OHS struggled the last few weeks, and we were starting to get a little concerned because that's the hometown team over here. We do our shows in Opelousas, so we knew it was going to be a battle up there. I thought we were leaning towards Natchitoches Central for a little bit. We knew Jess had his team ready to play. What did you hear about tonight's game? What happened?
I just heard that Opelousas came to play and that they just played all 4 quarters and ended up finishing that thing off. I don't think they ran into a bad team. We know what kind of coach Jess Curtis is. I think everyone that follows high school football knows that. I just heard Opelousas came to play and they played all 4 quarters. And that's really the only report I got on that.
Okay.
And that sounds about right. That checks out.
How about a good old-fashioned shootout between Airline and Union Parish? What a game that must have been to attend in person. And I'm sure the radio team that covered that game that night had a ball of calling that one.
It looks exciting. It was like 13 touchdowns or something, 48-44.
48-44 final, Airline on the road.
Yeah, hey, Union's still a really good team. Union plays a monstrous non-district schedule. They always have. So, sometimes, and Oak Grove does that. Sometimes those teams will end up, they have 3 losses going into district and people kind of counting them off. And the next thing you know, they're in the dome.
Yeah.
Because they're so prepared when they get to the playoffs. I think that'll pay dividends for Union, playing team, playing 5A schools, going on the road and just, putting your kids in the fire. If your kids are ready for that, I think that's a good move. If your kids aren't ready for that, it's not necessarily a good move.
So, go ahead, Coach.
I was just going to say, I just wanted to talk about, what about, I guess y'all heard about all the stuff going on in West Monroe and
yes,
losing their coach and he's suspended. I mean, all this turmoil and they go and get a win. That was I had actually picked against West Monroe because I just thought, man, there's just too many distractions, too much going on. EA's a good squad. They got to go on the road, no coach. It all happened in the middle of the week and just didn't seem like they could win. And, man, West Monroe going to West Monroe. They won anyway.
Coach, I want to know about this North DeSoto football team. Should we put them into that contention mark yet, or do we still have some games to figure them out?
I don't know if they're as good as last year.
I said that wrong. We're on Airline right now. Airline beat North DeSoto last week. That's where I was getting at. Should we put Airline in that contender slot yet, or let's let this season play out a little bit?
I think we got to pump the brakes. They beat a 4A North DeSoto who's down a little bit. They beat a 3A Union who's pretty good but lost Trey Hawley, who they've been just feeding the rock to, for 5 years. So I don't know how good Airline is yet. I certainly don't think they're a top 4 team, but maybe they're a quarterfinal team. Maybe. There's a lot of good teams in 5A.
Yeah.
I mean, across the state. And let's wait till Airline plays a few more heavy hitters before we make a call on that.
Yes, sir. Neville, Ouachita Parish got after it tonight. We know how that game ended a year ago. You got to think Neville circled this one and wanted this one tonight, especially being at home.
100%. You got to go into Bill Ruppel Stadium and win a football game. Good luck. It's kind of like going to the Crow Dome. There's some places that are harder to play than others. Under the Water Tower in Kentwood, at Haynesville, and at Bill Ruppel Stadium for Neville. Man, Ouachita's a great squad. Benji Lewis is doing tremendous things with those guys. I think they're going to have a whale of a season. Neville man, Neville just knows how to win, Jordan. They know how to win. That's what it is. And also, they expect to win.
Right.
They wake up, expect to win. They get off the bus, expect to win. They show up to the game, they expect to win. Doesn't matter who's there.
So you think if the playoffs go back to where they were beforehand, this
Are you talking
Neville,
about pre-split?
this Neville football team could find their way into that 4A bracket championship slot?
100%. Yeah, they can absolutely contend.
That 2021 bracket.
Yeah. However, I say however you draw up the brackets, split, pre-split, 2021, or last year, I think I put Neville in the conversation.
Okay.
I just kind of always do because, man, when are they not great? Can you think of a time? It was 09. I think the last time that they weren't great was like 09.
Year in and year out, my friend.
Since like 1920. So, yeah, I ride hard with the Tigers. I think Neville will be around. I think it's about time for another dome trip for them.
Absolutely. I know they're eager to get there. Really good friends with Mr. Stewart that does the broadcasting for Neville, and the community is ready to get back.
Yeah, and that they love to win down there on Forsyth Avenue, and I'll be rooting for them. So I think, like I said, Ruston. You look at Ruston, OCS, Neville, Gina, Glenbrook, Haynesville, Homer, Logansport. These are all teams within 50 miles of me that I think can make a run.
Oh, goodness.
Uh-oh. That baby mad.
Oh, he fell off a chair.
Is he all right? Hello?
Mr. Ray,
Yes, sir.
Thursday
Your
night.
baby good?
Thursday night football.
Uh-huh.
St. Mary's is 2-0 now. What do you know
Yep.
about them? I mean, because they're in that Division 4 slot. And
Yeah,
and
I don't-
if they fall on the other side of the bracket of a OCS, I mean, what can we expect from them?
I think Glenbrook can play with anybody. I think Ascension Catholic would give them trouble. I think Glenbrook could give them trouble. Possibly Opp Catholic could give them trouble. But I think they could play with those teams, and I would probably favor St. Mary over all three of those. But I would favor OCS by 40.
Is the quarterback back?
Yes.
My goodness, what a player.
Yep. So they look really good, and they got it clicking down there in Natchitoches. So it's just, Division 4, well, the coaches won't ever admit this, but right now, if you're in Division 4, you're trying to get on the other side of the bracket from OCS. And we said all this, we didn't even really talk about Southern Lab. And didn't they beat Madison last night?
They lost 13-12.
Oh, yeah, 13-12. Well, Southern's real good.
Yes, I hear really good things about this Southern Lab football team that is destined for Southern Lab OCS to meet up in the Dome.
I hope that's how the brackets shake out, because that's what you'd like to see. I think that sounds like the championship game,
And you would hate to see it in the semis.
Yep, you'd hate, or the quarters, God forbid. You hope Southern and OCS end up on the other side, and then like Glenbrook and Ascension Catholic and Opp Catholic and St. Mary, I probably have them fighting for those, the other spots. So that's where I'm looking at Division 4 right now. But everything's wide open, baby. We're only in week 2.
Absolutely. Hey, last one before we look a little bit about next week. Ouachita Christian and Oak Grove. Is that a 10-0 and 9-1 rest of the way?
Oak Grove plays such a tough schedule. I'd actually have to look at their schedule, which I can do real quick while I got you on the phone. Takes 2 seconds. And I'll tell you if they're going to. It seems like they would go undefeated the rest of the way. I don't know if they'll run into Mangum, who I know Sterlington dominated Mangum. And Sterlington's the one I meant to mention in 3A. That's who I kept leaving out. Sterlington deserves. They deserve to be. They're probably the favorite in 3A. Who down south is gonna? There's somebody down south that's really is Lake Charles College Prep. How are they looking this year?
They got beat tonight by Westgate pretty badly, but they're still a talented group. St. James is still talented. Lutcher is still talented.
Yeah, Lutcher, St. James, and Sterlington. That seems like the three. But looking at Oak Grove, Oak Grove plays Sterlington next week. This is what I was talking about, their pre-district. They played Opp Catholic, then OCS, then Sterlington, then Rayville, then Mangum. Then they get into district.
They have to go back-to-back weeks against state championship caliber teams like that.
Yep, and they won state last year, so they got to play OCS. You play OCS, and then you have to play Sterlington the next week. Ooh.
Hey man, you better hope you came out of this game healthy because there ain't no week off next week.
No, and then they play Rayville, and then they get Mangum.
Yeah.
So that's
So we
yeah,
got
they got
that
What's that?
match. I said we got that matchup lined up next week. Give me your other big time matchups in the northern part of the state next week that fans should keep their eyes on.
Man, I'm going to be honest with you. I have not even got into week 3 yet.
Come on, I thought you and Cody already have y'all games picked.
I'll have mine picked. I'll have mine picked on Sunday. So I haven't. I have a little idea, but off the top of my head, I don't have like a. This is my favorite game. This is a highlight game. I'm kind of looking at that Oak Grove Sterlington game's looking pretty tasty. But
where's Creek
seems
going
like
to be at next week?
we have to go to Winfield.
Okay.
So, and play another squad that'll have 3 times our roster size and be a little bigger. These rebuilding years are kind of tough, but it's part of the deal. It is part of the deal.
Hey, give me your
Go ahead.
give me your favorite team from down south.
My favorite team down south? Man, I just overall, I'll say West Feliciana, fastest team I've ever seen.
When they went to the Dome, that was the fast team. Good God.
That 2017 team is the fastest high school team I've ever seen.
My goodness. When we saw them play in the Dome, I can't agree more.
Yeah, so if I had to pick a favorite South Louisiana team, it'd be West Feliciana, and then my number 2 would probably be Carr.
There you go.
Give me your top North Louisiana teams.
I'm a big Union Parish guy from Tree Holly these last few
Yeah.
years, and if I had to throw in another, I mean, who would be yours, Alex?
I've always been a fan of Haynesville.
Haynesville's got such rich tradition. They're awesome.
Just year in and year out, they're just always there.
Always around it, even when you think like, oh, Haynesville's not that good this year. Yes, they are.
And I love Ruston.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ruston's a ton of fun. So, yeah,
And
but I like
would
there's a bunch of teams.
I would say Union Parish and Neville would be my 2.
Yeah. Neville's my number 2, so I ride with Cedar Creek that's of course where I played and went and supported for 40 years. But Neville's my number 2 school, and then I probably got to go Ruston. But I like Union a lot too. Union's really fun. I go check out. I try to catch a game a year at least.
Mr. Ray, any last words before we close week 2 out?
Man, no, I think that's it. It's getting close to 2 in the morning. I got to get up pretty soon. But
Hey, I got to cover a game tomorrow, my friend.
You did what?
I got to cover a game tomorrow.
What time?
2 o'clock, rescheduled from Thursday night when it got canceled because of the weather.
What game is it?
Poberry and Beauchamp.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Hey, you get college game day in the morning, and you get high school football midday. That's a good day in my eyes.
Hey, that's the best kind of day. A day full of football is the best.
Absolutely,
But
my
man,
friend.
now I look forward to talking to you guys next week, and hopefully maybe 20 or 30 minutes earlier, and we'll get it rolling.
Hey.
Should be a fun week.
They had so much excitement this week. We got back late from Baton Rouge, so our apologies on this end.
I'm pleased to wait for you guys, man. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. It's fun.
Ray, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for being a great friend and always supporting the platform. We'll see you next week, my friend.
All right, Jordan. Y'all be good. Take care. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to Week 2 edition of the Recap Show live here from King's Truck Stop and Casino. We want to thank Kings and their staff for being gracious tonight to take care of us and feed us and letting us use their restaurant to do our recap show. Proud sponsor of Under the Lights, and we can't thank them enough. And I want to say thank you to Alex for coming and call the game with me tonight. It was a lot of fun. We got to do it again sometime.
Absolutely.
Week 2 closes the door, but Week 3 opens, and we're ready to hit it full speed. Last words as we close out Week 2.
Yeah, another great night of football. 2 nights of football. Still got one more to go tomorrow.
Yes, indeed.
So hope everybody stayed healthy, stayed safe. Didn't have any crazy headlines that we know of.
We'll have on Wednesday.
Let's keep it pushing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Late night edition of the Recap Show. We told you we're crazy. We told you we love high school football. We'll be with you all season long. 15 great weeks of this late night football at its finest. I got to get this little boy in bed. Signing off from myself, Jordan Taylor, and Alex Fontenot. Good night. Congratulations to the winners across the state of Louisiana. We'll see you tomorrow, 2 o'clock. Red Devils, Gators, live on Under the Lights. See you next week, my friend.
Peace.